Hey, Cashew Maniacs! We are back with creating nostalgic foods. And today, we've made something very, very special. Vegan White Castle sliders.
And why is it?
Well, I grew up in the United States and we used to go to White Castle all the time. It's such a nostalgic food for me. I really miss it. So now we've just decided to make our own because that's what we do, is make our own fast food.
We cooked really nice recipes for it, all vegan. We made our own patties, we made our own buns. And we didn't just make one vegan slider, we made 3 different types: original, Mediterranean, and Asian style.
So good. So good. Well, before we dig in and try these, how about we show how we made them? Let's go a few hours into the past.
Back to the future. And first of all, we have to do our vegan buns. We're gonna do it type brioche, and we're gonna start by mixing 100 milliliters of water, 50 milliliters of soy milk, and we're gonna warm it up. We need it a little warmer than room temperature, and that's what we're gonna do now. Once it's warm, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of brown sugar and 20 grams of yeast. Bio if it's possible. That's the half. We're gonna crumble it with our hands. And mix it very well. Once it's almost dissolved, we'll let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes, and we go with our dry ingredients. First of all, we will have 250 grams of flour. We will add it into our mixing pot with a pinch of salt, 60 milliliters of olive oil. It is very important to have the milk not super hot and also to dissolve the whole yeast in the milk, because otherwise the yeast will not activate, and this is what brings complications later to have a very fluffy dough. If you mix it all together and you let it rise and it doesn't rise, it's not gonna be good. That's why we have it perfect now, all dissolved, and we're gonna add it to our flour. And we're gonna mix it for about 5 minutes. Goodbye. Now the dough is ready. We will just have to take it out. We will just sprinkle a little bit of flour to work it a little. To work it, we can always take a little flour on our hands. And what I will do is just make a bowl out of it. We'll add a little bit of olive oil in our bowl. We will place our ball in the bowl, and we will cover it with some plastic and let it rise for 1 hour at room temperature. So now it's time for our patties. We're using the mincemeat from Middel's Farm. and this is made out of pea protein. We're gonna mix a couple of ingredients extra for it so it has our own touch. We're gonna use just one package because we're making 6 buns or 6 sliders. And we're gonna use some Greek herbs for it. Because we've been in Greece, you remember that one? We're gonna use a little bit of paprika. And some extra salt. We're gonna mix it well and give it a nice mix. It's gonna be tasty. There's no recipe that says that they add anything, any spices on the meat. But I think it's gonna be a little nicer if we're making a gourmet version of it. Perfect. Next step. Now we're gonna use this cover, and we're gonna cover it first in plastic. And then we're gonna spread our meat in here. Try to have it very evenly. We can place a plastic on top, for example, and use a little roll for it, so it's all even. That's perfect. Then all this rest we can use on other places. Then next, we're gonna divide our mincemeat in 6, as even as possible, of course. And we will punch some holes on it, because that's how the patties are gonna be cooked through. Although we're not using real meat, this mincemeat is already cooked, but that's how they do it, and we want to imitate the technique also. Great, they're looking super cool. We're gonna cover them with the plastic and freeze them for an hour. Next, we're gonna cut our onions. Normally they use white onions, we don't have them today, but we love red onions too. Let's cut them in small cubes. There's never too many onions, even when they make them, you cry. It's so sad. I never tried these sliders before. Good. Next step. So our dough has doubled the size. Now it's ready to keep it working. And for this, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour on our working surface. I'm gonna take the dough. You can see how inflated it is already. It worked perfectly. Just take it out carefully. And we're gonna just massage it a little, incorporate a little bit of this flour in it. It's super fluffy. Now we're gonna cut our buns in 6. I always like to cut like that, and this in 3. And now we're gonna work every ball and give it a round form. We just make it a little rounder by working it with our hand on the table surface. And that will be our first one. Our 6 balls are ready. Now we just cover it again and let it raise for another 30 minutes. Come back. Our buns look good. Let's see. They've risen up a little. And now we're gonna make a mixture of a little bit of soy milk, a little bit of water, and a little bit of turmeric or curcuma. Gonna brush them. If you have a brush, it will be more efficient. We don't have one now. And just because I love it so much, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of roasted sesame on top. And let's hope it stays and it's not gonna be gone when we take them out of the oven. We're gonna bake them in the oven for 20 minutes at 200 degrees. We will start by grilling our onions now. We're gonna cook them till they're nice and brown. Now that the onions are caramelizing, it's time to set it apart. What we're gonna do right now, because we're doing 6 different buns, we're gonna do 3 and 3. So I'm gonna divide the onions in 2, keep one part here, adding a little bit of oil and reducing the temperature so the onions will not burn. And we're gonna divide this in 3. Take the first patty, in the original recipe they do these little holes in the middle so the meat cooks much faster. We don't need to do this because it's already cooked, as I said before, but it does look fun. Now very carefully, before the onions get too roasted, let's flip it. And let's try to make it grill on both sides.
Okay, you want to say that this is the number?
Our buns are done. Let's one slice of cheddar cheese, one big slice. Wow, look at that. If this is not a thumbnail. Well, the buns look super, like brioche style. The sesame seeds are on top still, very nicely. We're gonna take them out and we actually bake them for 15 minutes. How spongy, how fluffy they are. Our first slider is the original one with the grilled patty with the onions, cheddar cheese and pickles.
Super good. Oh, so hungry.
The second patty, we did it a little more Mediterranean style. That's why we used avocado, cherry tomatoes, and for the special ingredient, we used salsa romesco, salsa for calçots, which is typical Catalan, of course.
So good.
Some Catalan music, please. Just do it like this.
And the third one, something very special and greatly exotic for us for a burger.
We added some nori seaweed, some dill, and special sauce, wasabi mayonnaise. Super spicy.
Oh yeah.
There always has to be something spicy in our cooking shows.
Well, I would suggest we cut them open, have them, and let's try them out. So good. I'm gonna dig in.
Let's try the original one first?
Original first.
Okay.
For sure.
Pickles.
Nice. They're gourmet sliders, that's for sure.
Of course.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The bun is so good. Wow.
It's my favorite thing today. It's the bun.
Caramelized onions, vegan cheddar cheese on top of a vegan mincemeat patty. It tastes super. Personally, I like the overpowering pickles. Yeah, it's very good.
The buns are so fluffy. So fluffy!
It's incredible.
So far, what do you think? You are the only one who ever tried White Castle sliders. I never tried them. For me, I like burgers, the little thin burgers, but also tasty.
Comes incredibly close.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I mean, this is a gourmet version, so it's an upgrade to what standard White Castle, obviously.
Cool.
Nice. Let's dig into the next one.
Yep.
The avocado, the Mediterranean one. Ooh.
With the romesco sauce.
Has romesco.
Romesco is usually just used to eat calzones. But why not in a burger?
Nice flavor with the romesco.
I love it.
It pairs well with the caramelized onions.
Because the other one was super nice, but maybe it was a little dry. We will have used some sauce, some mayonnaise with some barbecue or something. I like it more. Also, the tomato and the avocado bring some richness and some freshness to this kind of sandwich burger, where the pickles overpower a little bit too much. Also my favorite till now.
The last one. I'm very curious. We have dill, we have seaweed, we have wasabi mayo on top. This is a very exotic slider, that's for sure. I hope it's good.
Let's see. The wasabi mayo.
Wow. This is my favorite now. I keep saying it, everyone is my favorite.
I didn't knew that it could go better, but I think also this is my favorite now. The wasabi mayo pairs it super, super good. The dill just brings the little freshness. And the seaweed gives it also this kind of fishy taste without having any fishy patty. It's super nice.
Yeah. Fish burger gone right.
Well, so your favorite today was the original, the Mediterranean / Catalan, or the fishy Asian one?
All three. I mean, if we have to choose, then the fishy one. Because my God, what gourmet heaven. How about you?
Yeah, I think also the fishy one will be my favorite. It's the more gourmet advanced sandwich. I will love to have this in a restaurant or in some fast food kitten. fast food
franchise.
I also love the Mediterranean / Catalan one because of the sauce.
Oh,
it's so good.
yes.
And it's so fresh. This is more like a sandwich I would like to eat in the morning, or if I'm on a trip or something, like to have it in my bag. And the original one is actually really good. It's something that we could have in a movies night, or also when we go and eat fast food outside.
True. Yep. Yeah. If you have any wishes, leave us a comment. As we usually say, we will recreate it, or at least try and fail. And please subscribe to our channel. Like our videos, it means a lot to us. That helps us grow. That's a goal.
Yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next challenge. Bye.
Bye.
Give me a plate.
Oh.
No, I'm full actually.
No, let's.
I wanna have
Let's wait.